rocking the boat.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Rhino. And a good afternoon. What's up? We made it. Welcome to Friday, Royal Rumble Friday, which means you can come in, talk about whatever you want to talk about within reason. You know, like John Daly, we've got a good quote from him today, but we had to cut it off. It's not within reason. This is technically a family program, although we allow the likes of Adam, PK, Haunted Horse on here from times. By the way, shout out to my man Frank in Boise for retweeting the show, and thank you to each and every one of you for letting me in to your ears, your cars, your offices, wherever it is. Thank you. We've got a full show for you, and it's a big Friday for the Kings across the board. Arguably a bigger Friday for the Stockton Kings than the Sacramento Kings, but both are in action tonight, 7 p.m. It's win or go home for Stockton. For the Kings, you know, they've secured their place in the play-in. They're battling for home court advantage in the play-in game, the 9-10. They will be playing Dallas. Dallas has secured as well. So it's a question of who's going to host the game. And would the Kings be better off on the road? Grant thinks so. I don't know where I stand on that. I do not. And the title of the show is Doug Christie playing chess or checkers? I saw a comment. He's not even playing Uno. Well, the reason I said that and the reason I wanted to start that conversation is this whole big lineup. Like, don't you think you're going to have to run this big lineup if you're playing Dallas with Gafford, Lively, Davis, and then also the wild card to all this, Jake LaRavia? Is he going to be able to be back in time? So we'll get into all of that and more. You are welcome to call the show anytime, and you can call with whoever you want to call with. So we've had Alex and Adam buddy up. We've had Haunted Horse, John. We've had 9 people on at one time. So that is up to you. I've got 90 minutes, 2 hours of content for you to get you ready for tonight. So let's get it started. Welcome in on a Friday to the King's Court. Court is in session.
Late nights on the screen, hey, it's Grant and Ryan. We bleed purple, talking hoops, never lying. Sacramento Kings, we rise and we fall. If you don't like that, then you don't know ball. Jerry sitting with the stories of the game, spilling all the truth, driving legends insane. From the Cow Palace days to Arco's roar, this town's heart beats on the hardwood floor. If you don't like that, turn away now. Kings in our blood.
Yeah, and turn away. If you're expecting to see Malik
Hello,
Monk
friends.
play.
Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello,
Hello,
friends.
friends.
Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Welcome to this tradition unlike any other.
The King's Court is a tradition unlike any other. It's Masters weekend, so we might as well get some hello friends in here from Jim Nance. What's up? What you doing on a Friday? Ryan in Sacktown with you. Be down in Stockton tonight for the finals game for the Kings against the Osceola Magic. Win or go home for them. But main stage, Kings, Clips. This game means so much more to the Clippers. And we'll talk about the reasoning behind that here as the show goes along. But they are in a battle with Golden State to stay out of the play-in. We'll get to the playoff picture here in a few minutes. But as reported by James Ham, Keegan Murray, he's back. He is available to play tonight. That's going to be big for the Kings. They missed him against Denver. There's no doubt about that. And I kind of missed Isaac Jones in the second half. And we'll talk about Doug's rotations as we go along. You know, the bench didn't have any points in the second half after having 17 in the first half. The Kings, although first game back from an East Coast road trip, a Nuggets team fired up about the firing of Mike Malone. David Adelman coming in here, first time coaching an NBA team as a head coach, although he had been on that staff for 8 years, but his dad, Rick, he grew up with the not Beam team, the Kings we think of, 2002. So a highly emotional night, a lot to play for Denver, and the Kings had opportunities. They really did. Trey Lyles sparked them with, what do we always say? It's that, I call it the Sacramento crack. It's the hustle. Trey Lyles dives after a basketball in the fourth quarter, which spurs a Kings run, but then Denver answers back in the clutch. In fact, just blew the Kings away after that. We can talk about that one, anything you pull from it. I've got a few things that I pull from it, and we can go through them. We've also got audio from the players and Coach Christie to digest. But as we said, Kings clips tonight. Jason Anderson, this was as of yesterday. Keegan is now in. As for the Clippers, we're still waiting on the significant names. Norman Powell, he's a game time decision. Also, Zubox is a game time decision. But Patty Mills, Amir Coffey, both out. Amir Coffey, a guy, LA guy, close with DeMar DeRozan. If the playoffs began today, that's what it would look like. There it is. What do you think? React to it. And we all know the play-in schedule. We put that up here a few times as the week has gone along. Win or lose these last two games, the Kings will be playing on, they'll be playing on Tuesday. Yeah, there you go. So, excuse me, they'll be playing on Wednesday. My bad. Don't have my readers on. We talked about Stockton. We'll get into them a little bit. Game 2 against the Osceola Magic. Big one for me here is both teams are on equal rest. Both teams are on equal travel now. So I think that balances things out. Stockton they got to play. They got to win the Western Conference Championship on last Sunday night, but then it was a travel Monday across the country. You play Tuesday. So quick turnaround from them, and they hung in there. And this Magic team plays very similar to the way that Stockton plays. So I'll break it down a little bit. I'll tell you who my X factors in that one are. And obviously, as we said, the Masters going on. Got to show it some love.
Welcome to this tradition unlike any other.
But I've got some unique thoughts on the Masters. I love the course. I love the history, but I do have a few grievances that I think I need to air with the Masters that I don't think are that big of a deal and probably not that far-fetched. I'm sure some of you have thought these as
the airing
well.
of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
And by the way, yesterday, an amateur golfer who's playing in the tournament, this is what really stirred things up. Amateur who's playing in the tournament. He's a golfer at Arizona State. He forgot there was a restroom at the tee box where he was teeing off at, and he got all the way over the bridge down by Rays Creek, and nature called. He had to go. Dude went in Rays Creek, which is now taking over the news cycle with the Masters. We'll hear from him. And there's two sides to this coin. Your staunch Masters supporters. I mean, we can't even call them fans. We have to call them patrons. Patrons. I've got thoughts on that too. But the patrons, they're not happy about it. The staunch ones. Yet he received applause coming back up the hill from Rays Creek. So we'll talk about that as well. And last but not least, I want to update the story on NIL and how this is kind of getting out of control. Tennessee's quarterback did not report for spring practice. You now have college holdouts because he wants more money, and he's forcing Tennessee's hand before the portal reopens, apparently. So interesting stuff here. More to talk about with it. But most importantly, what's up with all of you? What are you doing today on this Friday? Remember, I am still accepting recommendations for vehicles. That was a big thing last show. So if you have any ideas that you think might help me out, you want to point me a certain direction, let me know. That all still up in the air. If you weren't with us, my baby, my car was totaled. And it's so frustrating that that thing's totaled. It shouldn't be totaled. It's a quarter panel. Anyways, Justin, what's up, man? First in on this beautiful Friday. What's up, Beavis? Beavis, where's your buddy Butthead? Yeah, playing Uno. Well, it's just like, is Doug waiting for the play-in to maybe show more than what they've shown, especially with the big men? Because Grant asked me on the post-game show, if you're going to play those two guys together, don't you need to get them acquainted? Don't you need to give them more minutes, get some flow together? And those are two guys, Valanciunas and Sabonis. They could just walk onto a court and know what to do. In fact, the first time Doug put them out there together, it flowed perfectly. So I don't think you need to get them into the flow like you need to get other guys into the flow. Those guys are very similar, although different in many ways. But they've practiced, they've trained together, they've played together. They get it. They both grew up around the same brand of basketball. Both Kings teams need a win. I agree. Carl, thanks for being here. What's up? Finish strong. Kings, I can acknowledge that.
Acknowledge me.
Let's get hot now, or let's get right headed into the play-in. These two games really aren't going to change much. You right now are ahead of Dallas. I think the Phoenix game, Phoenix is going to mail it in. And by the way, hey, Dennis, and anybody else that's been following Stockton with me, Ty Washington will probably play in that Phoenix game. Dude might have a game. Just saying, when they play the Kings on Sunday. But this is where you need to get right. But also, guys that have not been on the court, you need to get them conditioned. You also probably need to put the minutes down a little bit lower than what they've had for the starters. So you're hopefully peaking as you head into the play-in. Flores, what's up, man? To answer your question, Doug is playing tic-tac-toe. It's a Cats game. Doesn't a Cats game mean a wash? Help me out there. Help me out there. I don't know what a Cats game is because Kings Court is a big dog house. We are not a cat house. Interesting. Tic-tac-toe. Okay, so we're going to break it down. So it's not chess. It's not checkers. It's not Uno. Tic-tac-toe. Is it cornhole? Is he just throwing bags out there to see what's going to happen? Al, what's up, man? Dennis, what do you want to see? Okay, you guys are having your own conversation. I can respect that. Was good to see Jerry. Yes, I thought that was really cool as well. It was nice to see Jerry calling a game again. It's like he never fell out of the saddle. It's cool stuff, and it was cool for you guys. You know, it would be nice to see Grant and Jerry, but those days have passed for now. Paul, what's up, dude? Thanks for being here. Check in. Let me know where you're watching from. Talk about the media flap from the Sacramento River Cats rebranding as Sacramento Gold Diggers and their disgusting misogyny. I don't know about it. You're going to have to fill me in. I've not looked into that. What's up, Mark? Happy Friday, Ryan. Everybody out there ready for the Kings tonight. Need a Kings win over the LA Clippers. Agree? Yeah, I guess you do, but you need to do it the right way. That's the thing. You better hope nobody else gets hurt either. Great to have Murray back. I agree 100%. bring Keegan in slowly. See, and those are the things that we're going to discuss. How should Doug handle the minutes in the rotation? You know, Doug is fairly old school when it comes to minutes. He's not pulling starters out early. He's going to play to win the game. Like Coach Edwards said, you play to win the game. But you got to start thinking about that because the minutes are adding up when it comes to Zach LaVine. Now, one guy that the minutes did not add up for and looked great the other night against Denver was Trey Lyles. I thought Trey had a great game. Thought he was super bouncy and all over the place coming off a game where everything was short.
You play to win the
Detroit.
game.
Good afternoon, Dirk. What's up? Rhino, I'm finally getting my button. Will you be lurking /replay? Oh, you're talking about haunted horses. You know what? That dude, like, he gets in front of a microphone and it's like power trip, dude. I'm not. No, you got to earn a button. You got to do this. You got to do that. No, you're not getting 2 buttons. If you watch Haunted Horses show, you know what we're talking about. So anyways, appreciate everybody checking in. How much does home court matter to this team? It's a good question. If you look at the Kings home court record, not much. What are the Kings at home? 19-20? 19-20 at home, 20-21 on the road. Now, their 2 biggest wins, most recently on the road, were the 2 that we didn't think they were going to get, Cleveland and Detroit, in back-to-back nights. Traditionally, just off the top of my head, and you hit Grant with this question, he's going to tell you that, Dallas had some tough travels. They were without people, which is true, but I don't put as much weight into that because everybody's got to deal with the travel. But the Kings have played well in Dallas for the most part in recent memory. So that's what I take it. Yes, traveling east to west can be difficult. What's up, Rock? Got my 90210 haircut. Chicks digging me? You got your 90210 haircut? Is that what you're calling my haircut, by the way? I don't know what my haircut is. Usually my wife cuts my hair. She's not done it the last couple times. If we've seen the last of Jake, maybe we might sign him. I don't know. Let's get through this season before we start getting to who we are signing, who we are not signing. All right. So, as I said, call the show if you want to get in here. We will get you in right away. You can call with as many people as you want. We will definitely also be taking Adam's segment today. We'll talk some WWE. We're less than 2 weeks out from WrestleMania, so plenty to chew on there. We'll keep putting your comments up. We'll look at some stats, and we'll start the conversation with Kazzy. What's up, Kazzy?
Hey, Ryan. Thanks for taking my call, man.
Yeah, of course. What's going on, brother?
Hopefully the dryer sound in the background isn't too bothersome. But anyways, you said you got in a car crash?
I did.
Are
yes.
you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. It was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, my mom actually got in a car crash a couple weeks ago, too.
Is she okay?
Yeah, she's perfectly fine. I think she's still shaken up. She did get a new car. I'm not going to review that car, obviously, for privacy reasons. But anyways, as far as basketball goes, back in February 9th, I had predicted that the Kings would probably win 38 games. They are sitting at 39, but then I think a couple weeks ago I had told you, I said, if Ellis stays in the starting lineup, they will win 40, which right there, I'm like, right there, bro.
Congratulations. Good job. Go to Vegas. Get to an Indian casino.
So, I mean, I would say it's pretty likely that we'll beat Dallas unless the Kings have a collapse. Do you know what? Are we projected to get Jake LaRavia back for that playing game, or will we have to wait to the playoffs if we make it?
So earlier this week, they kind of snuck it out right before the Malik Monk news. That thumb contusion was actually a fracture. And I don't remember the exact type of fracture it was, but he's been cleared. The last update officially from the Kings was he's been cleared for light on-court activities, which is kind of the first step to getting back. I would think you're not going to see Jake LaRavia the rest of the regular season, but I would project that they are going to make a push to have him back for the play-in. That would be my guess. That would probably be the goal.
And should we win the first game, like, who is that team you probably want to play?
Memphis, 100%. You want Memphis.
Gotcha. And hey, right, one more question. So my cousin who lives in Oregon, her and her husband just had a baby. And then he's only going to be, and by the time I go see him, he's going to be like 5.5 months old. What in chat? You can let me know too, chat. Right. What is a gift that I should get for a 5.5-month-old other than clothes?
5.5-month-old other than clothes. I've got the perfect gift for you.
Got you.
I got you, bro. I got you. I'll tell you in a second. All right. Good job. Right. So, Kazi, perfect gift to get for that kid really quick. 2 things. You either get one of those play mats that they lay down on, and then above them is an arch with all these little toys hanging above their head that they're pushing at. So that way they're building their abdominal muscles, and then they're also working on rolling over, because that's right about the age. The other one that I would get that has always been a hit, like across the board, not just with my son, but with some of our friends' kids, is those little xylophones that are made for babies. It's going to annoy the heck out of the parents. Sorry in advance. Comes with the territory. You decide to have a kid, you've already signed up for that. One of those little, the Fisher Price xylophone. Just look it up, dude. How many of you can spell xylophone? In fact, how many of you know what letter xylophone starts with? Just asking out of curiosity, because I was thinking about it myself. But yeah, those 2 things I don't think you go wrong with, and they're perfectly safe for the baby. It's got like a little wooden, whatever you call it, hammer. Not hammer. Shouldn't say hammer. That's not good. Don't give a baby a hammer. It's got like the wooden like instrument stick that you hit on the xylophone. That's what I would do, bro. Both easy to travel with, not anything too big. All right, my man, he's on camera today. Dirk, what's up, dude?
What is up? Hey,
doing?
doing okay. As far as the game is concerned, what goals do you have for this team tonight? What do you want to see out of them?
I want to see them not get hurt, really. And I would like to see the minutes come down. I'd like to see Keegan eased back in. I'm not sure that I put him on a minutes restriction, but I probably have a number of minutes in mind. And I want to see Doug, probably more than anything, start to stick to a rotation. Whatever that rotation's going to be, let's get them on the court together, and let's get some minutes. Because I thought the communication in the end of the first quarter, mid-second quarter, and the transition was really bad. She had guys out there that hadn't played together all season. So how about you?
Well, everyone want to see Terrence Davis get integrated if he's going to add anything to this team. You know, it'd be good to see what he can do with this unit. But I would like them to experiment a little bit, because they're going to need some new angles. I want to see Devin Carter a little bit more, really trying to see where we can find new connections between these players, because this team's going to need some sort of new angle if they want to make any, if they want to actually get to that 8th seed. And you're not going to have Malik, right, unless that they actually get into that series. So how are you going to create scoring opportunities for anyone who's not DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine? I know a lot of people were ecstatic, in that one game. I was where Zach shooting 72% from 3. That's not sustainable. I'm going to predict you're going to see him get taken out of the offense a little bit by their best defenders come that first round game. I think DeRozan's a little bit more unstoppable than Zach is as far as getting his high quality shots. But are you anticipating Zach LaVine is going to be able to get good looks in a play-in or playoff game?
If Doug Christie schemes it right, you can't do what you did. So here's my first thing. We talked about this the other day. For the Kings to play best, and you even saw this last game against Denver, when it got more up tempo, that's when the Kings were at their best. They've got to play at a LaVine tempo and not a DeRozan tempo. But Doug did Zach no favors last game. I'm going to put a few photos up. This is what the defense, third photo. This is what the defense was doing all night. Anytime Zach LaVine brought the basketball up, they were just shading towards Zach. It's so hard for him to make a play at that point. And if you bring another guy over, now you're bringing possibly another defender. If you're talking about Valanciunas coming up, you have got to find a way to have somebody else bringing the basketball up. Whether it's Devin Carter, whether it's Keon Ellis, whether it's DeMar at times, somebody else has to bring the ball up, and you let Zach be off the ball, and then you get him coming downhill, you get him coming off of screens, and you let him create from there. I think the DeMar stuff is a good change of pace, but there were too many Dirk possessions last game where DeMar's just hammering it. There was one in the third quarter where he dribbled it to with like 5 left on the shot clock, and the ball gets knocked out of bounds. Like, I just don't see DeMar being as effective as Zach can be, and I think it's on Doug to get Zach opened up.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think I have a lot more confidence in DeMar DeRozan as far as avoiding a turnover. DeMar DeRozan bringing the ball up than I do Zach LaVine. It's those unforced turnovers that we can't seem to avoid in these situations. So when we talk about getting him open, we have to talk about how. Like, how is he going to get open? And that's the puzzle I want us to solve in the next 2 games. Let's try some new looks. Let's try somebody else bringing the ball open. Come up with new actions that could result in buckets to make us a little bit more unpredictable come playoff time, right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
To me, I just think you need to tap into Devin Carter a little bit more, or somehow Terrence Davis is going to give you something, but that, I don't know. You can't come to expect too much in this circumstance. So
Terrence Davis is the last guy on the bench. No disrespect to him.
So you don't think he plays at all?
No, I don't. He's been out of the league for 2.5 years. If you had a plan to play Terrence Davis, you would have seen Mason Jones getting minutes earlier this season at times when Monk was out, because Mason Jones scores 9 points more than him per game in the G League. I just don't see it. I think he is the ultimate fire alarm. That used to be Doug McDermott. Now I think it's TD.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just intrigued a little bit by why we make the pickup. I thought maybe something is there, but I guess you're just bolstering the bench for this short playoff run. But I don't anticipate. First of all, I don't care if we win tonight. It's irrelevant to me. You're pretty much locked into the 10 seed. Dallas is going to have to beat Memphis. I mean, they could beat Toronto, but they're going to have to beat Memphis, and Memphis is going to be a bit motivated, I think, to get that home court advantage, if that's even feasible for them. So, the Kings basically need to split the next 2 games to guarantee the home, the play-in game at home. I don't honestly care if we have the play-in game at home. I think, I'm not super happy we got Zach. So to me, it's like I don't need our ownership profiting more from this year and their decisions that they've made. So I won't be going to the play-in game. I'll be watching it, but I hope the Kings somehow we could acquire our pick and then still make the play-in. Like, that would be cool. That's my ideal situation here. But let's find new angles. I don't think you can, if the Kings don't find a new guy to score outside of those 2, then Zach's got no chance of being effective, I think, in the playoffs or play-in games, because they're just going to take him out. So you need somebody else to step up, find new avenues to score. Some guy's giving you 10 points needs to suddenly give you 20. So,
and Kirk, it can't be. Here's the thing: you have to assume DeRozan has to get going, but you can't focus the offense around DeRozan because the pace is too slow. It's the Kings cannot thrive.
Well,
with the pace
I
of
think,
this flow. And let me ask you this really quick,
yeah.
and I'll let you respond to both of those.
Sure.
Jonas Valanciunas has not been playing very many minutes at all. Last game, he only had 9 minutes and 2 points. Like, what's going on there? He was playing so good when he first came to SAC, and now he's just kind of fallen out of the rotation.
Well, I think that's because Doug's probably trying to find something with Domas and the other players. Like, to some extent, that has worked, right? You've got Zach and him sort of giving that DHO action where he's able to get the open three. We talked a little bit about this on another call, but I didn't care that he didn't play much in the Denver game because I don't think he was going to be effective. It gives you, I mean, what are you really expecting from him? You need him back on defense, right? And I like if there's an opportunity for him to score, so we go against Dallas. I haven't been watching Dallas. I don't know what bigs they have that are going to be available to us, but or in that play-in game. But they're really effective defensively. So is he going to be a guy that's going to get you a lot of buckets? No, you need him getting rebounds, getting a second chance shots at additional 3-pointers to get ahead. So, I'm okay if he's not playing because that means Domas is playing, and Domas is going to give you a better chance at finding guys for easy buckets, in my opinion.
All right, fair enough.
Now, what I was going to ask, so I think DeRozan is capable of resisting his urge to slow game it, go down low and do his thing for the first 3 quarters. He might be the closest thing to a point guard at this point because he can get a lot of assists in certain games. So
yeah,
DeRozan is smart enough to run a game plan.
True.
Up until it breaks down. And that might be your best shot with this unit without Malik Monk if you don't have somebody stepping into this point guard role. So I think he'd be willing to embrace it up until the 4th quarter, and then he's going to do his thing. So to me, that's your best shot. You got to try to tap into something new just for a new angle, a new thing for the defense to consider. That's what I want to see in the next 2 games is those experimentations. So.
Yep, I hear you. You want to see experimentation. I want to see some type of rotation come together. I think both of those things can happen in the last couple games. Like, I just want to be at a place where when it comes time on Wednesday to step on the court for the play-in, Doug knows who's playing and who's not. Like, I don't want that to be a fluid situation outside of foul trouble, outside of, guys getting teed up or thrown out or an injury. Hopefully nothing like that. But you remember when Doug took over this team, it was, this is your role. This is your role. This is your role. Right down the line to each player. I almost need that reset after 82 are up. So,
but then you got Zach, and that threw it all off, So,
yeah.
Here's your role: shoot 20 shots. That didn't always happen. So,
yeah. Doug Christie saying shoot 53s. That one's still a little bit over my head. But hey, appreciate you, Dirk. Good stuff. What you are looking at right now is the last time the Kings and the Clippers met. The Clips have won all 3 meetings this season, but this was debatably the best meeting, one of the best games that I remember of the season, even though the Kings ended up losing. This is the Kawhi buzzer beater, where Keon Ellis played excellent defense. There wasn't much more you could have done on that. This is where, to me, the season turned. Again, it's that roller coaster ride that we keep talking about. It's been a massive wooden roller coaster ride. Well, it took a turn downhill after that one. That game, if the Kings would have picked it up, would have been absolutely huge. And now you've got to deal with Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is going to be there for the Clips. A whole different aspect that he is handpicked. Like, if you were building a guy that was out there or could be out there at the deadline in the buyout market, If Jeff Van Gundy was looking to build somebody, it's him. He's not messing with your offense other than making it better in terms of distributing, and defensively, the guy can guard 1 through 5. That's what that is the Clippers, by the way. That's their secret sauce. It's the defense. They can switch 1 through 5. Teams that can do that have success usually deep into the playoffs. So Ben Simmons only bolsters that for them. Doug Christie took the podium after last game. Lots to talk about. Some of the hustle was there. Bench was there. Bench wasn't there. Zach LaVine didn't get going until late. Why didn't the Kings adjust to the zone? Why didn't they adjust to the defense shading towards Zach? Here's Doug.
That one hurt me. I was hoping that we were able to come through on that one, especially in front of our home fans. Cut it to 4, and then Porter Jr. hits a big dagger 3 that I think that was a tough one, but many things that.
By the way, the best thing that Jerry Reynolds said all show in that chair with Kyle Draper, Drapes, love you, dude. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't have been nervous too, but I think Drapes was a little bit nervous to have Jerry there. And I thought that was kind of cool because it shows how much respect there is for Jerry. But that's why I love Drapes. He's embraced this city. Like, he is taken in Sacramento. Like, he loves Sacramento. Unlike some other people that call games for this team. But back to that play. Keon Ellis, go back and watch the play that Doug's just talking about there. It was the 3-pointer right in front of the Kings bench. Keon Ellis got beat on the play. He recovered. He was able to contest partially from the front, and then in midair, he contests from behind. And Michael Porter Jr. had to adjust to the contest from behind too. And dude still made the shot. It was one of the most impressive shots I have seen all season. It was the most impressive defensive play I have ever seen Keon Ellis make. And Jerry made a point to really highlight that on the telecast. He was spot on. Go back and watch that if you can. It was incredible stuff.
We're a good second chance and fast break points for them. 38 is just a number that is it's too big, unacceptable. Only 52 paint points compared to some of the numbers that they've been putting up, over 60. But we'll go back and look at the film. 25 assists for us, not enough, and 36 three-pointer attempts, not enough. But yeah, that was a tough one, but we're gonna have to lick our wounds and come back and be ready to get at it because the Clippers they're gonna be coming. Yeah.
Mike, Trey was in here talking about the resilience you guys have shown. This point in the season with just a couple games left, how important was that fourth quarter surge that you guys made just to show that you weren't just going to roll over?
I mean, yeah, but we don't want to live off of just trying to, feel good about things. We're here to win. And that's the type of basketball that we need for 48 minutes. And allowing them to get out in transition early, 33 in the first quarter and 66 in the first half is just too many points. We've played better defense, and we must play more physical and be more consistent on the defensive end to compete against the best teams, which we have done. But it takes a full game effort. It's not something.
All right. So when I went back and I watched the film, I put these two pictures up at halftime with Grant, but you guys were right. The Nuggets role players, they had 3 role guys in double digits. 3 role guys in double digits by the 9-minute mark of the second quarter, including Christian Brown. You would think at that point, if those guys were going off like that, dang, Jokic is distributing, yo. He had 2 assists. He had 2 assists at that time. So how do you let those role players get going? This is how the role players got going. Look at the pressure. That's Devin Carter, your bulldog, your pinball, your bowling ball. Look at how far off he is on Westbrook. I get game plan says let Westbrook shoot the 3. That's like going under screens. That's not giving Westbrook this much space. And by the way, the second Westbrook entered the game, they got 2 back-to-back alley-oops because there's this much space to see the floor and make a pass. Look at your cutters. You've got Porter Jr. right here at the bottom of the screen that can just go backdoor at any second right there on Doug McDermott. So that is how the role players got going. Here's another example of it. Valanciunas, way off of Westbrook. Now, I understand that a little bit more, but still not okay. How Doug isn't adjusting. Like, if this is a zone defense, cool. I get it. Let Westbrook shoot the 3. This was not zone. This was man-to-man, as you can see. So you let those role guys get rolling, and by the third quarter, these guys are feeling like Jordan and Kobe out there. And so what turned the game actually was the pressure. That was the adjustment at halftime. You can see it clearly with the Kings coming out of the locker room. There was no more of that, but by that time, those guys had it rolling. And then the next big decision was, do you double Jokic or not? I thought Jerry was spot on with what he said. Make Jokic beat you. Let him have 50. Don't let him get other guys involved to the degree that really the second half he got them involved. But the first half, those guys got themselves involved because the Kings were just lackadaisical on the ball. And we're talking about a Kings team that is very poor when it comes to on-ball defense. Doug Christie again.
To your point, you can do in the fourth quarter, and then you're happy about it. And I'm not feeling good.
Doug, down 3 rotation guys, you've almost been forced to play your top guys heavy minutes, but the boost that McDermott and Devin gave you in that second quarter to kind of spark that run, how big is that for this team to get that second unit boost?
It's huge. I mean, Doug is he's a gravity player. You put him in a game, and we just have to understand as a team when Doug is in the game, as teammates, you need to look for him because he is a specialist, and the thing that he does that caused.
Hold up, though. This is where you got to be careful. Okay, yeah, Westbrook ended up technically sucking. What did he finish with? Finishes with 5 points. You know what he was averaging coming into this game against the Kings this year? 20.6 points and 5 assists. So to see that much space between that guy that had been killing you, I likened it kind of to John Collins when the Kings play the Jazz, just being able to dissect and get wherever he wants to go. That's what Westbrook had done up until this meeting. But yeah, he did not have a great game. He didn't need to. He didn't need to when you've got Brown, Porter Jr., and Gordon, all with double-digit scoring 9 minutes into the second quarter. And then the hot guy, I don't even remember the guy's name. Peyton Watson. Was it Peyton Watson? No, it wasn't Peyton Watson. The dude that hit all the threes. That's how much I don't even remember his name. Doug Christie.
A lot of gravity is the gym has to come towards him, because if it doesn't, he is, whether where he knocks it down or not isn't really the point.
It.
The point is, he's going to get it off, and it has a really good chance of going in. Now that when you play that game, now slips come into play. Everyone's looking. You can, reject, dribble, and get downhill. There are a lot of different things that you can do. Devin has just continued to impress. You feel him when he comes in the game, and that's one of the things that I really like about him, because I'm all about making them feel us. Like that is
not to the Kings.
For me, it's a staple. Like we need to be physical. People need to feel us and understand that that's how we're going to play on a night-to-night basis. So both of those guys really, really solid off the bench.
Doug, you talk about the process of getting better. We saw sort of a step back against the Wizards, but the last 3 games,
Sort
the 3-game win streak, and then
Right.
tonight's game. Do you feel like the process is working? You guys are getting better?
Yes, I think that there is a level that I'm going to demand that we play at, and the consistency at which you play at that level in this league determines the altitude how high you fly in this league. And if you are up and down constantly, you're probably going to take a lot of losses. If you do not reach that level, you're going to get the hell beat out of you. And we're not here for that. We're here to play at a high level consistently. And
Coach, I don't care what you're here for. The reality of the situation is you're that team that you just mentioned that's up and down a lot. That is why your home record is a game under 500. It's why your road record, which is actually pretty good, game under 500. So that's your team. And that's why coming in to this last road trip, when we're talking about can the Kings get out of the play-in, and that's before we knew that we were going to be without Malik Monk, it was like, well, can the Kings show me that they can play 2 good games in a row against 2 very good opponents that have their guys? And I know that Detroit was missing a couple of people, but Cleveland had everybody, and they did. So I truly don't know what to expect when it comes to this team, but I do think tonight I would expect the Kings probably to play this here's how I see it. I think the Clippers are going to come out hot. I just do. This game is so important to them. They do not want to end up in the play-in. And here's the other deal. They play Golden State the last game of the season, and they already have the tiebreaker on Golden State. So really, if they win tonight, the Clippers, they are guaranteed to be in the playoffs. They will not be in the play-in. So I would expect them to come out hot, shooting, giving you everything. With the Kings offensively, I don't know how they're going to score. They have to get the scoring from the starters. The question is, can the starters keep up with the Clippers scoring right off the bat? Because I don't think the Kings can rely on 17 points off the bench in a half from their unit. I just don't see it as realistic, or at least the unit that they will be playing with tonight. Now, you do get Keegan Murray back, and back to Dirk's conversation a few minutes ago with us, I think that is the one thing that I'm going to look at. Is there a way that Doug can use Keegan to be the straw that kind of stirs that drink in between DeRozan and Levine? Can he be that other factor in the starting lineup that breaks things up? We know what Sabonis is going to do. Sabonis is going to gobble stuff up down low. He's going to play his tail off. He's going to get putbacks. But what about Keegan Murray? Up until his back injury, or his back flaring up, I should say, he was playing really good basketball. He was kind of having this silent takeover. And I know all of you can point to 1 or 2 wide open missed shots that he has per game. But if you look beyond those, he has been pushing back a little bit. He's been more aggressive. So can you get that side of Keegan Murray? You know what you're going to get from him defensively. And then Keon Ellis, he does what he does when he gets his looks. Usually he's shooting at least 50%, it seems like, per game. He's just not getting a ton of looks. Last game, what did he finish with? Through the third quarter, I've got the score sheets right in front of me. Let's see. Here we go. Through the third quarter, there we go. Keon only had, he had 6 shots. He was 4 or 6. So, and that's the quarter that Zach LaVine went off too in the third. So anyways, a lot to be seen, but back to what I expect tonight. I think by the end of this, the Kings will be down double digits. They'll make a run, but it'll come up short. It'll get pushed away. So you got to look at Keegan. But again, you also have to remember this team hopefully is getting back Zach LaRavia. That's going to be a big piece for them. That Doug Christie has really put some love into, or Jake LaRavia, excuse me. He has really liked what he brings. Now, with LaRavia out there, a lot of times that takes away minutes from Trey Lyles. And I like how Trey Lyles has been playing lately. So good problems to have on that front. But first, you got to get Jake back. And Devin Carter, too. What Devin Carter are you going to get? The Kings, by the way, this is what killed them in the fourth quarter. I mean, we could point to a few things, but they were in the penalty at the 6:20 or at the 7:27 mark of the fourth quarter. They were in the penalty. That just can't happen. The Nuggets, after 3 quarters, had, I believe, 16 free throws. They ended with 31. And they didn't play the back and forth foul to the free throw line game that maybe 3 or 4 free throws accounted for that. The other thing was in the third quarter, they just got out hustled. The Grizzlies had 5 offensive rebounds in the first, the Nuggets had 5 offensive rebounds in the first half. They had 5 in the second quarter, or in the third quarter. The score at the end of 3 was 93-83, and they had 9 points in the third quarter off of those 5 offensive rebounds. So despite everything Denver brings, despite having one of the best players in the world, the Kings had opportunities. And it's a Kings team that has injuries everywhere. So again, Doug, your team up and down, up and down. This standard that we're talking about, can we just forget this standard? Don't we always want to do our best? And if you are wired the correct way, usually you always want to do your best. So we get that's the target, but the Kings aren't hitting it. It's just what it is. So plan for those lulls, try to adjust during those lulls. And I thought they did, quite frankly, a very poor job of adjusting with the offense when it came to getting Zach LaVine better looks. So Dirk brought that up as well. It was a very, very good point. All right, Doug Christie, one more time.
Like being down players, whatever, like I would love for them to be in because we need them. But the point is guys are stepping up and we have to find that level consistently. It's an absolute must, especially to compete against and go where myself, our organization, and our fans expect us to go.
Doug, what are the things that you think maybe over these last tonight and the previous 3 you've seen that might bode well for you guys, that they maybe give you some indication that you can keep the season rolling?
Well, I think more than anything.
What are we talking about, Dennis? What stigma? I'm not, Dennis, can we not crack that can of worms? You already asked me to crack a can of worms via DM earlier this morning that I'm not quite sure how to navigate. And, I do all this show prep. I come prepared to talk for 2 hours. We have so much off season. If you want to cover that and bring numbers and have a responsible conversation around that, then fine. But what's that have to do with anything today? Come on, Dennis. Dennis, I'm pulling you back, just like I had to do in Stockton a couple of times. Dennis almost ran on the court like 3 times. Next time, I'm going to bring one of those toddler leashes. If Dennis goes to a game with me where it's attached at his wrist and I've got the band so I can just give him a nice tug. Or would a shot caller be better? Can you get a shot caller into an NBA or a G League building? We'll have to research that. Doug Christie.
thing is the consistency. That's what, like, we came out in those games and the opposition felt us immediately. The ability to move the basketball, make simple, easy plays, rebound and crash the offensive glass. Tonight, 11. Last game, I believe it was 17. Like, there are two areas that we have to excel in, and that is creating extra possessions off the offensive rebound and making people feel us, and creating turnovers, which create extra possessions. Those are two areas that we are in control of, and we will be in control of, because it's an absolute must. And when we're doing it at a high level, then we get out, we run, we share the basketball, guys get open shots, and the game becomes easy, because it is an easy game and we make it hard. So, but we did that consistently, I think.
And my point being is that is why you can't play that game with DeMar DeRozan's offensive game when you slow it down. Those are like oil and water. You just can't do it. It's Mentos and Coca-Cola. It doesn't work. It explodes. But you are getting Keegan Murray back. And Keegan Murray and Keon Ellis are your two pieces, and Devin Carter. They can make things hectic. And that's where that's your secret sauce. I've said it all season. Transition is where the Kings defense to offense can get their extra shots. It's where they get up tempo in running. It's where they get their fast break points. It's where they get their points off of turnovers. And those are the differences. That's what makes it different for the Kings when they play well. And that's actually, to me, what gets Golden One Center starting to kind of feel like, just kind of feel like Arco Arena at times, because it really has not been there quite yet. All right, we're going to transition really quickly. We'll still be talking basketball. We're still going to be talking. Oh, yeah, he for sure does. No doubt. They were hawking this purple drink down in Stockton in the lounge. And I mean, it looks just awful. It looks like anybody that's been to a frat party or a sorority party and has partaked in jungle juice. That's what it looks like, but a purple version of it. So, like, you could only think what was in that drink. Like, you have probably had like some blue carousel. Well, actually, I know what's in that drink, because I think Dennis asked what was in that drink. And I'm like, bro, you don't want to do that. But that's how hard he bleeds purple. He was going to drink purple. So there you go. Speaking of Stockton, that's what I want to talk about. It's not just the Kings who are in action tonight, but also the Stockton Kings are in action. And it's actually more important of a game, in my opinion, than what's going on in Sacramento tonight, because the Kings are locked into the play-in. Stockton, first time ever in the G League Finals. They dropped game one to Mac McClung, an ex-Stockton King, Jalen Slauson. But they're back home tonight. It's win or go home. It's a best-of-3 series. So if you happen to want to go to Stockton and watch the Kings game on your phone and then check out this in person, it's going to be rocking. It's a fun experience. It is damn good basketball. In fact, I would propose to you tonight is the closest product you're going to see to NBA basketball in the G League. Osceola is one of those teams that's quote unquote the standard. They've got Mac McClung, by the way, reigning dunk champion in the NBA 2 years in a row. They've also got some really solid pieces. Mac is a G League champion. He's been a G League MVP. He wants to be known as more than a dunker. I understand that, but they are a well-run team, and so is Stockton. The matchup between these two teams is so perfect. It is the complete opposite of the Kings and the Austin Spurs. Austin wants to slow it down and grind you out and foul and be physical. The Magic want to get out and run, and the Kings want to push the pace as well. Stockton in game one They were tied at halftime. They should have had a lead at halftime, but Brian Bowen II mishandled a perfect pass under the hoop that would have given him, presumably, a layup to take the lead. And they battled, but then fourth quarter, just too much. 2 games in 3 nights, cross-country travel for most of these guys that are not used to that cross-country travel that quick. Mace certainly is tuned into it. A couple of names, though, to look for if you're going to go to Stockton. These are my X factors. One is not pictured, and one is very obvious. Isaiah Crawford. You know that name. He's been a 2-way player for the Kings. Isaiah Crawford has not been playing great the last couple games. He hasn't. He's got this. He's got the NBA body. He has the NBA fundamentals, but it's like one of those guys that you are trying to build the basketball into him now. And at times he's got that confidence. At times he doesn't, and he's a step slow to the play. He just has not played well. He hit a big 3 last game in Stockton to send them to the finals. But he also fouled out. He was frustrated. He was not happy when he came off the bench. And I know because I was sitting right next to him. So he needs to have a much better game in that starting lineup. But those 2 guys right there, John Elmore to your left and Dexter Dennis, those are the 2 guys. And Quentin Crawford runs a very tight rotation. It's an 8-man rotation. It's Randall, Bowen, and Dennis off the bench. That's his rotation. So these 2, Elmore, he's kind of like and by the way, the all-time leading scorer at Marshall University. So don't look at this guy and think he can't hoop. This dude gets on the floor. Watch the hell out. He is just like that utility tool. He's just a good basketball player. He's everywhere. Can shoot the 3 a little bit. Great defender, in my opinion. Dexter Dennis, freaky athletic. He can guard multiple positions. He is kind of, to me, and please do not take away from this, that he is on the same track as Keon Ellis, but he is a very raw version defensively of Keon Ellis, very similar athleticism as well. But they are going to need both of them tonight to be able to have great games, especially defensively, to beat this team, because Slauson, he's dialed in. He scored like 14 or 15 in Osceola. The Kings let him go this summer, if you don't remember that. So you know he's going to be out for some revenge. But those 2 right there, my keys to the game. And Terry Taylor has just been absolutely unreal. If you've been following Stockton and me following them this year, you know that Terry's kind of the guy that I have been trying to learn more about and honed in on this year. Like, what is it about Terry Taylor? Mike Brown, during training camp, said that he mentioned him by name during scrimmages. He said TT actually played really well. TT is just like this. It's so hard to put because he is like this perfectly built power forward, except he's only like 6'5" or 6'6". That's where his game fits. He's not overly explosive, but he can be quick at sometimes, get his shot off. He's got such a beautiful left-handed stroke as well, but he has been killing it for the Kings as of late. The defense is obviously focused around Mason Jones. So Mace, coming into last game, was coming off of 38 and 47-point games. What I'm saying is tonight's going to be hype down in Stockton. I think it's going to be a fun atmosphere. You can get a cheap ticket, by the way. You can sit in the lower bowl for $10. So if you want to see some high-level basketball, get down there tonight and support this team. For as many issues as this Sacramento team has had this season, and I get that they're under the same umbrella, Stockton's the complete opposite. They are so smoothly and well ran. They lost their G League coach of the year, Lindsey Harding, this offseason to go coach in the NBA as an assistant in LA. And Gabriel Harris, who gets promoted from interim GM to full-time GM, flawlessly, smooth, brings in Quentin Crawford, and the Kings don't miss a damn beat. The Kings end up in the conference finals again and ultimately get to the G League finals for the first time in their existence. So they are so well ran. They are such a team. They know how to play. Go support them tonight. I'm going to be down there covering it. Come say hi if you end up getting there as well. Would love to meet you. Let's go to my man, Matt. What's up, Matt?
How's it going, Ryan? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, brother.
Hey, man, I'm really looking forward to seeing you at the game tonight. I really appreciate you getting me out there.
Yeah, for sure. That's right. Matt's going to be courtside with me tonight. Good job.
Yeah, and Sunday was my first Stockton Kings game, and it was beyond my expectations. It was my first time coming out there, and it was like high level basketball. Like I've honestly never seen somebody get so hot in person like Terry Taylor did.
That was incredible.
Yeah. I was blown away by the fans too. They were really loyal, super loud, like just the whole vibe. Like they had like a local Stockton poet performing at halftime. I kind of like just instantly became a bandwagon Stockton. I've always kind of followed them from afar,
yeah,
from before them, but I'm sold, man. I like Mason. I'd love to see him get more run with the Sacramento team, and I don't know. But what do you think about like when I was watching Terry Taylor play? I almost was thinking that he was like about 6'7", and then I looked him up. He's only 6'4".
Right.
But he kind of plays like a big. So do you think because of that? Do you think that might be kind of tough for him to fit into the NBA?
100%. That is like part of that is a huge part of the story that I've been following with him. How can he fit in to an NBA roster? Because skills wise, shooting wise, he's got that. He can spot up and hit a three. And he can also get down low. He can play bigger than he is. I think the one thing that's holding him back a little bit. So like I think about guys his size that have had success in the NBA or even success with the Kings. You think about it like a Chuck Hayes. You think about that type of player that's undersized. I would like to see TT be able to scrap it up a little bit more, be a little bit more down low presence if he can, because he's not going to jump out of the gym. But I think that is such an interesting point that you bring up, and like the whole big question around him, because there's enough there. To me, Terry, I'll just say it, for as perfectly built as Isaiah Crawford is, yet the skill set is still there. The complete opposite is with Terry. The skill set is money. He's ready to go to a degree. Now, remember, it's stepping up to the NBA. He is ready to have a look at the NBA, and he did get a 10-day contract, but it's the build that I think that's holding him back a little bit. So can he get better with his ball handling? Can he keep shooting the three ball better? It's all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, there's like you see kind of these shooting guards with thick builds like Dwayne Wade or Desmond Bane, but I just don't think Terry has that kind of speed that either of those guys have.
No, isn't it? You know what I call him, and I mean no disrespect. And I'm not trying to compare his game, but he reminds you of a little Zion Williamson. He doesn't take over a game like Zion does. He's not necessarily a bowling ball, but I guarantee you, if you go out and watch Terry Taylor and watch him play a full game, Zion will be the comp that comes to mind, just in the way that they look, in the way that they shoot, and the way that they kind of handle themselves on the floor.
Yeah, and about Mace, like obviously he's not as good as this guy, but I think his NBA comparison to me is Chris Paul. And I like, especially what reminds me of their two games is the way that they use their body to protect the ball. Like they're really strong. Yeah. They keep the ball away from the defender, and they can just kind of stand there and there's dribble, and there's no way that the defender can get to the ball, and kind of doing that thing where they feel the defender on their back, start to slow down, draw the contact, just really deliberate. And I think Chris Paul even does that more in his later years since he's kind of slowed down. So I saw some similarities there.
Yep. Mace his story is incredible. For those that don't know, he's also getting his MBA right now. So dude has, since coming to the organization, the way he's changed his body, the way that they've built around him to a degree, and then Scala BCA, he is somewhat surrendered his game to play within the way Stockton needs him to play. And he has been so huge for the Kings growing. And the Kings actually have a big advantage size-wise when Scal's on the floor. So that's something else to look for tonight against Orlando.
Yeah, and then just a few points on the Sacramento team. I've been kind of surprised about how they've used JV this season.
Yeah,
because,
we were
like,
just talking about that.
His 3-point attempts are down a whole shot from last season. And if you look at his stats, his 3-point percentage has been declining in recent years. But I mean, he was at one point shooting the 3-ball well. And people have talked about before that this team shoots a lot of contested shots. And I just feel like a way to have a lot of open shots is to, when we got JV in there, run the ball in transition, maybe have him inbound the ball, and then have him run to get that trailer 3 if possible. And then
No. You don't
No?
want him shooting the trailer 3. He airballed a 3 last game.
Okay.
You know, when JV's had his most success was when Sabonis was out, and he was doing a very effective job of getting up the floor ahead of the guards and sealing off whoever was on him. And a lot of times it would be a guard or a cross match. He scored a lot of points that way. So if I'm Doug Christie, I'm trying to figure out how I can do that, how I can get JV. And part of that goes back to, can the Kings turn defense into offense? Because if you do, JV will get down the court with you.
Okay. And then just one last thing, I'll take your response off the air. I just got like a checklist of things that I think would fix the Kings in the offseason. And first is trade DeMar for a starting point guard who's pass first, who can really set up Levine. Re-sign Jake. Bring in a veteran head coach or someone with kind of like an old school mentality, like how Ty Lue, when he was signed with the Clippers, he was new, but he kind of had that old coach vibe. I think replace Monty. And then I like Lyles, but I think replace him with somebody who's just a really springy athlete, because I think Jake can kind of do what Lyles does, but just with more defense. And then potentially sign Mason Jones, but I just want to know if you think his defense is ready for the league. So
yeah, all things that I think are on a lot of people's checklists right now. I think before the Kings do anything, the decision has to be made on Doug and Monty. Anything short of, to me, it's either you have them both back or you have neither of them back. You need to get, you either build on something that I don't particularly see yet in this team, or enough from this team to build around and on. I'm more at the point that you need the fresh set of eyes to rethink how you use the pieces that are on this team. But then, yes, I think the first question from there, you know, Sabonis is going to be seeking clarification. But I do think DeMar DeRozan probably, and whether it's for a point guard or whether it's to get back into the draft, I think DeMar DeRozan will not be, I've already said this on record, won't be on opening day roster for the Sacramento Kings next year.
all right, thanks, Ryan. I'll see you later, man.
Yep. See you tonight, brother. Job by Matt. Matt going courtside tonight, getting the experience, looking at the Clippers numbers right now. Kings clips tonight. Stockton Kings, Osceola Magic tonight. Osceola? The heck's Osceola? Somewhere around Orlando. Tell you what, you don't need to clip any coupons to get to Bennett's. All you got to do is go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com and just check out the specials. They don't require a coupon. They've got them running nearly all week long. Bennett's 3 locations here in the greater Sacramento area: Roseville, Rockland, Howe, and Fair Oaks as well. All 3, little bit different of a vibe. All 3 have brunch on the weekends. It's that time of year with the weather. Go sit on their beautiful patios, especially Rockland and Roseville, 11 to 2 p.m. on the weekends. And then weekend nights, you got brunch. a prime rib as well. Happy hour too, 2 to 6 every single day, amongst some of the other awesome things that they do. They're rolling out a new sandwich lunch menu, which looks great as well. So what I'm saying is get to BennettRestaurants.com. Make your reservations. Not too early to start thinking about Mother's Day. Easter also fastly approaching. You can do that there. You can buy gift cards, PK. You can put in your to-go orders and much more. Huge thanks to Brian and Margot and the entire team over at Bennett's for sponsoring the King's Court. And thanks to all of you that have gone out to support them and given us all the positive feedback. Let them know when you go that you heard about them here. Ask for Brian. Brian loves chopping it up with you guys. And sometimes Brian's been known to discount some checks as well. But anytime you go to Bennett's, let us know, because we always give that back to Brian. We let him know and give him that feedback. He absolutely loves it. So go check him out. Rockland, Roseville, Howland Fair Oaks, BennettRestaurants.com. Prime cuts of seafood and steak. All right. We are into the second hour. King's Court Friday. Still got Adam coming up at some point. Going to talk some WWE Wrestlemania season. We'll do about 10, 15 minutes on that. Anybody else that wants to call the show? You want to talk about the Kings? We can do it. You want to talk about something else? We can do it. We're here till about 4 o'clock tonight. Don't forget, we've got all the coverage. No pregame tonight because I'm going to be in Stockton, but halftime, Jerry will be back with Grant, breaking down the first half of the Kings and the Clippers, and then postgame, Napes will be taking your phone calls, talking about what went right, what went wrong, hopefully no injuries, and laying out the rest of the NBA and playoff picture as we come down to the last 2 games of the season. You know, the last game is on Sunday. It's Phoenix. It's one of those weird 12:50 or 12:30 starts. The NBA starts everybody at 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 East, because they don't want anybody getting an advantage when it comes to playoffs. Come on. You're going to allow all this rest management and tanking throughout the season, but everybody's got to start at 12:15 or 12:30. Get out of here. All right, we got to get this guy's imaging ready. He is our habitual line stepper. If you know what I mean by that, you know who it is. It is.
No, he would step across the line.
Our dude.
Habitually. He's a habitual line stepper.
What's up, dude?
Hey, bad boy.
What's going on?
Nothing. Fishing trip with the boys this weekend.
There you go.
And we're not going to catch anything, but I guarantee you we're going to have a great time.
Where are you fishing?
Lake Lanier. It's North Atlanta. Big lake. Big bass lake. So we're going to be going after some bass for 2 days. But hey, I want to ask you something, Ryan.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about G League and stuff, why do you think it's so hard for these G League guys to transition, in your opinion, into NBA? I also like I saw like in Westchester, New York. I used to watch some games over there with some when I don't even Brasdeikis was there, the Lithuanian dude, like New York Knicks were sending all these guys over there. So I would watch some games, but them transitioning into the NBA, it seems so difficult for some reason.
Well, I think number one, it's a completely different level of competition. You're playing guys that are bigger, quicker, faster. Number one, the game's much quicker. And number two, everybody's G League program is not the same. I would contend that the Stockton Kings are one of the teams that are the exception to the rule, where I feel like the Stockton Kings are very much in sync with what the Sacramento Kings are doing. They're trying to run things. They don't send players down just to get confidence. They send players down to simulate looks. Doug Christie talked about that when Devin Carter went down. The big focus of that was getting him to run the show.
Goofy Carter.
Getting. Why do you always
That's terrible.
Why do you always got to go there? Okay, why is he a goofy guard?
He's goofy on the court, dude. It's like, just watch him play. He's just goofy. Like, he runs around like he's just goofy. I don't know.
Okay, so if he had a different haircut, would you still think he was goofy?
It's not how he looks. It's how he plays. He plays goofy.
I can kind of see that. But
He's goofy. Like if you see him on defense when he like defends the 3-point shot, he's like running around with his arms up. Like,
yeah, he's got a
like
6'9" wingspan.
dude, he's like trying to guard like 3 guys before, like, instead of guarding the ball, he's like guarding, like, I'm just telling you, bro.
I hear you.
He's a goofy Carter.
All right,
it's not how he looks. It has nothing to do with his looks. It's how he plays.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Goofy Carter.
Hey,
It has nothing. I think he looks like a badass, dude. He looks awesome, dude. He's like, he looks cool, but how he plays is goofy.
People that snowboard with their left foot forward, it's called goofy. So I guess I can accept it. All good.
Yeah, but anyway,
but let me finish really quick on the G League thing. That's why the Kings have had so much success, and you need to, and I'm not saying like you in particular, but you have to put that into perspective. When I say success, more times than not, when guys come up from the G League, or conversely, when Kings are sent on assignment down there, they come back ready to play. And it's not ready to score 30 points. It's not ready to completely impact the game, but they are ready to step in sufficiently into the roles that they're being asked to play into.
Yeah.
And Keon's a perfect example. We can go back to Kessler Edwards, who was a perfect example of that. Mason Jones at times has been a good example of that. Isaac Jones,
Also,
decent example.
Ignite. Let's say like Ignite, when they started that G League team Ignite, even though they have a bad record, these kids play. I mean, just think about how many guys have been drafted from Ignite.
Yeah, because they are the team,
Even though they lose.
Yeah, because they're not a team. They're just a bunch. They are the exact opposite of what Stockton does. They roll the basketball out, and each one of those guys, and they're all there for that reason. They're there to show out. They're there to put their play on tape to where they're going to be high draft picks because they're choosing not to go to college. They're choosing to go play for that team. Yeah. So
and play against men. Like, these are most of those kids are pretty young. If you think about it.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, like it's kind of like what Luka did, what Sabonis did, what I've spoken about before. Is think about how these kids were grown up, these badasses that are tough. Sabonis played in Spain, I believe, before he went to Gonzaga. Luka played for Madrid as well, before he came here at like age 16. So like Valanciunas played in development league when he was young as well. So like I think it's kind of cool to see some of these younger guys have a chance to sort of like play against men before you get into NBA, because what scares the crap out of me is like if you draft a guy and he's really good, let's say Cooper Flag, you draft him and then he goes to a bad team, there's no way you're gonna like, it's like you're just gonna be stuck, you know, like you can be stuck. Like Jokic got into the league at 41st pick, and he was and he got lucky because he went to Nuggets. But if you get stuck with Charlotte's, if you get stuck with some of these other teams, it's really tough. But
there's some truth to that for sure.
But anyway, as far as Kings tonight, like I'm excited about the Kings tonight. I'm not really right now. It's like I'm not really scared of any teams that we played. I think they played really well with what they had against Nuggets. You know, they lost. I think it was kind of like predictable, but right now, I think other teams that play Kings might be the ones that are a little more worried than we are worried about Kings. Because if you have Kings on the roster right now, you don't know what the hell they're going to do. You don't know if they're going to show up and they're going to just, because Kings have talent. We don't have a coach because our coach just likes to love. But I think, do you think from an opponent perspective, Kings is something that you as a coach would look kind of like let's not take these guys too lightly.
No, not I mean, you're gonna say that no matter who you play, but I do not think that there's
But I'm
any
saying
team.
at the end of the season, you know, when
No,
every game matters.
no, I don't think that anybody sees the Kings that way.
You don't think Clippers are scared of Kings?
Nope.
I think they're scared shitless. Anyway,
All right.
I'm done.
Appreciate you. I don't think anybody's scared of the Kings. That's just me personally, PK. That is just me personally. Man, there's so much to digest with a PK call because sometimes it makes sense. And then there's other times
That don't make no sense.
and it just goes back and forth. He's all over the place. You know how hard it is to keep that guy on schedule? It is not an easy thing to do. It's more like trying to keep him on a schedule.
I don't have time to have a bad time. It isn't on my schedule.
Anyways, I love you, PK. Never change, my man. The Kings, the NBA final weekend of the regular season isn't the only thing going on. Arguably, it is second stage to what's going on in Augusta, Georgia. It's the Masters, everybody. Hello, friends.
Hello, friends. Hello, friends. And hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends.
Hello,
Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Welcome to this tradition unlike any other.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I get up for the Masters. If I think about golf tournaments, and if I had to watch one, would probably be the Masters. I get it. It's an amazing golf course. I think the town of Augusta is incredibly unique. I think it's really cool how it's built all around golf and this course. There's a second course, by the way. I think part of what makes the Masters so popular is that allure, it's that kind of mystique, because unless you're wearing one of those jackets, you ain't playing that course. Or somebody with one of those jackets, you're not getting on that course. I think the technology that they have on that course is amazing. I think the commitment that they have from volunteers is unbelievable. It's a great tournament. They've got some cool traditions. But we also got to acknowledge the other side of this thing. It's a little baggy. Like it's the cool kids club, right? It's kind of, we're better than you.
Because here at Globo Gym, we're better than you.
And we know it, right? I've got a green jacket and you don't. And by the way, these guys act like they made green jackets cool. I think all the other colors were taken by other sports. They act like they started the jackets. By the time you started your jackets, green was like one of the 3 colors that you could probably wear, primary colors, that was still available. You don't see a ton of green suits out there on the streets, do you? So, anyways, getting back to my point, for as much cool stuff as there is, like $1 beers, I believe the sandwiches are like dirt cheap, the pimento cheese, the moments it gives us. Like, I always think about 2019 when Tiger Woods won again. Yeah. Good job, DSC. Good job. Good job, my friend. I think about the moment that Tiger had, and I'm old enough to have remembered Tiger's moment with his father, Earl, but that was one of the coolest scenes I've ever seen in sports. Like, it just an amazing scene. If you've never watched that, go back and watch it, right? Okay, green isn't a primary color. Thanks for picking me up there, Adam. Guess we don't know our primary colors around here, but we know basketball.
Because here at Globo Gym, we're better than you. And we know it.
So I guess what I'm trying to get at is, for as baggy as this place can be, it's equally as cool, but both sides way about the same. You know, fans, they're not fans, they're patrons. You can't bring a cell phone in on the grounds. Getting in to the Masters, like if you're lucky enough to have a pass, getting into the Masters, when they open the gates in the morning, it looks like the running of the bulls in Spain, just people tackling each other. But yet there's seats already out on the course reserved for anyways. What I'm ultimately trying to get at is yesterday, this young golfer, he is an amateur. And anybody that's an amateur that gets to play at Augusta, incredible, right? His name's Jose Ballester. He's from Arizona State University. This dude ain't shaken by the magic and the tradition of Augusta. In fact, his Arizona State hat is up, the writing's upside down on his hat. That was the first thing that some of the uptight, we're better than you, and we knew it.
Because here at Globo Gym, we're better than you. And we know it.
We're getting their panties in a bunch about, right? Okay. Well, this dude, he's on hole 13. Hole 13, tees off. What do they call it? It's Amen Corner. So he's headed down that way. Rays Creek, we all know about. Well, he forgot that there was a bathroom on the 13th tee to his right. But then he got up to the green after getting to the green and saw that his playing mate was having a little bit of an issue, and nature called. How many times, if you are a golfer out there, have you found a tree? You know what I'm talking about. You find a tree, whichever one's the best and the most out of sight. You try to be as discreet as possible. You try not to go against the wind. You make sure nobody's around, but you find a tree. It's a part of golf. It's as much golf as putting a tee into the ground. It's as much golf as keeping score. It's just part of the deal, right? Well, he's like, I gotta go. So he starts walking down back towards the bridge. From NBCGolf.com, Jose Ballester took relief, quote unquote, a whole new level Thursday at the Masters after his opening round of 4 over 76. Not bad. The reigning U.S. Open champion admitted that he urinated in Rays Creek short of the 13th green. Apparently, Ballester was still visible to the patrons in the 14th grandstands who cheered when he finished. Now, here's my question. Was it just a straight, like, yeah, like, let's go nuts? Was it a golf clap? Or was it the slow Rudy clap? I wish I could have been there for that moment, but he got cheered. Ballister was playing with, and by the way, he was playing with Scotty Scheffler and Justin Thomas. Quote, I completely forgot that we had those restrooms left of the tee box. We're going to get to him in a second. In fact, let's get to him right now, because after the round, it wasn't about, hey, how'd you feel out there? What was it like playing Augusta? It was all about his trip to Rays Creek.
Well, I completely forgot that we had those restrooms on the left of the tee box.
Oh, okay. 13th tee.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct. Okay. And then I'm like, I really need to pee. Didn't really know where to go. And since JT had an issue around the green, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sneak here in the river. Probably the people would not see me that much. And then they clap for me. Probably one of the clubs that I really got today, like really loud. So that was kind of funny.
Are you concerned that there might be any blowback from that at all? Or, I mean, obviously they did see you, right?
Yeah, they saw me. They saw me. I mean, it was not embarrassing at all for me. So if I had to do it again, I would do it again.
Okay. Now I'm going to give you two sides of this. And Darren, what's up, my brother from Cunha, my man. Love me, Darren. Okay. I hope it was a Rudy clap too. I definitely do. So I'm going to give you the other side of this because I think it's fair. If there's children there, it's a problem. He needs to be more careful. I know people that have streaked at college soccer games and now have ramifications, registrations that they have to do the rest of their lives. So there's that serious side of things, and then there's the other side of things. Where the reporter, see that it's that reporter right there. Are you afraid of the ramifications of what the Blue Jackets are going to do or the Green Jackets are going to do to you? Because remember,
here at Globo Gym,
they're better than you, and they know it. Right? Like, and I'm thinking, come on, but can you not respect this kid? Like, not only did he just do it, he doubled down. The only thing missing from him was a tip of the cap to the fans that were clapping for him at the 14th. So I thought it was kind of a funny moment. Who knows? This is probably going to lead to some new USGA Masters golf rule. And by the way, if you are ever in Augusta, Georgia, rent a kayak because you can kayak all the way up to Rays Creek. I saw that on a golf.com thing where this guy took $100 and he had to spend every penny of it in Augusta. And that looked pretty darn cool. So all of golf, social media chiming in on this one. And I had to cut this off. There was no way I could put this entire quote up. But the king of pushing back with golf etiquette, John Daly, came out. Quote, people need to relax about this amateur taking a piss in Rays Creek. Like, it's a creek. It's already wet. All he did was take a piss. Doesn't compare what I did on Rays Creek when and that's where the quote ends. But at least John Daly came out and stood up for this kid. You know, that same John Daly that plays without shoes, who created the John Daly, which is an Arnold Palmer with vodka, hits golf balls off of beer cans. Yeah, that John Daly. So what a moment from Augusta. You can't make that stuff up. And probably the best mullet ever, too, if we are judging mullets. So, anyways, I'm sure you guys had heard about that one, but man, like, can you? Am I the only one that feels that way about the membership at Augusta? That like they're their own species. There's human beings, and then there's the members at Augusta. Like, it's just, we are so much better than you because we've got these green jackets. You know what I would do? And Grant actually got to go to the Masters one time, and he walked the entire course. One, he said the undulations and the pitch and the slope were just incredible. TV doesn't do it justice, but he said that they're actually really nice people, which cool. I get it, but the members, man, they're just, for as cool as the tournament is, the members are that baggy too. They just are. I'm sorry. They just think so highly of themselves. At the end of the day, you're a member at a golf club. You're a member at a golf club. Come on. Keep it in perspective. Speaking of perspective, you're not going to get very much Kings perspective in the next 15 minutes. It is Royal Rumble Friday, which means we do talk a little bit of WWE. And if there was ever time to talk WWE, it is right now, because we are less than 2 weeks away from WrestleMania. Holy crap. It is coming up quick. WrestleMania in Vegas, right around the corner, which means we are,
Ladies and gentlemen, stop the pace! Introducing
Adam Uso. And for those just seeing Adam for the first time, he legit is an Uso. So
it's true.
It's true. Fill him in. Tell him the story.
Hey, man, I got anointed by Mr. Yeet himself. Jay Uso called me an Oos.
It's very true. Can't debate it.
I'm just saying. I was there.
That's the good stuff. I mean, does it get any better than that?
the cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
They don't.
The cream rises.
Somebody asked me the other day, they were like, can you get some Macho drops? And I'm like, I've got to have Macho Man somewhere.
Yeah.
No, I did not have Macho anywhere.
Now you do.
Would not believe that. We got people asking to be acknowledged. We will acknowledge.
Acknowledge me.
People asking for Yeats.
Yeet.
There you go. The prodigal son has returned.
Hey, we love it. I had to build y'all up today and come in late. I just finished up 18. Speaking of the Masters, we just wrapped around here on a beautiful Friday afternoon in Dallas, Texas. The weather's great out here today.
Did you find a tree anywhere on that course?
Dude, I'll tell you this. I found 2 trees on the same shot. How about that?
Huh. Oh, with
I
your
hit
ball?
my shot, it hit a tree, and then it hit another tree. But it went back into play, so we'll take that. That's a win.
But did you find a tree? Like, did nature call?
Nature called several times today. Luckily, this course has adequate facilities, and I didn't need to go that route, but there was, I was like a hole out from, the John, and I was like, should I go? Should I not? We were playing with a couple, I'm not going to call them weirdos, but they're strangers today. So, I don't want to.
Couple of kooks?
I don't want to,
were they wearing green jackets?
They weren't wearing green jackets.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right.
Not that kind of golf course.
All right. So Adam Uso.
What do you guys want to talk about?
We're close to WrestleMania. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind? I think the first thing is the Kevin Owens injury. I thought it was a work at first. but it turns out that it's actually real. And Kev won't admit to it. He said it's been going on for about 4 months. So if we rewind the clock there, that kind of takes him back to the Cody KO. Was it ladder match or what was it? I forget what it was. It wasn't a ladder match, but when he took that shot through the ladder to end the match, I think that's when
Cody got banged up in that match too.
Strictly speculation, though. I'm sorry, Brian.
Cody got banged up in that match too.
I think they both did. Man.
Acknowledge me.
Wild, wild match. It was a great match. I loved it. But yeah, he said it happened during a regular match. I have a hard time believing that.
Yeah. I'm 100% with Matthew. There was no need to have The Rock involved in Cena turning heel. None. Unless it's going to turn around to what you've been saying.
I think we're still waiting on something else here, right? Like we always say this about The Rock. We said this when he came out mysteriously at Elimination Chamber and was like, or whatever he did.
So much overacting too. Anyways.
Yeah, I hope The Rock's involved somehow because then I think you get more legends at WrestleMania, and I hope he comes out.
I will say this. It's been an amazing lead up. Without The Rock. I have really enjoyed what we've seen. Now, the match, that's a whole nother story. This might not be that great of a match. Like, when was the last time Cena had a singles match? Exactly my point.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking back because he showed his face in the last year or so, right?
Well, he was in the chamber. He had to win the chamber. So,
yeah.
But he was the last one in the chamber.
But maybe he's been saving it all up, man. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. Well, yeah, I think that is going to be. I just hope that they don't overdo it. And last year, they walked the line a little bit in the main event with Roman and Cody, but it made complete sense why they did it, and it ended up being one of the most perfect and well executed main events, like with all those run-ins that I can remember in my lifetime. I thought it was a great job. I just hope that this whole thing that has been so great between Cena and Cody does not just end up with all the focus on The Rock, right? Like, I don't want to come away from this main event and being, oh, well, it was all about The Rock.
Yeah, I don't think it will be. It wasn't last year. Last year we did have that buildup with The Rock, though, with him putting Cody into the side of the 18-wheeler after a SmackDown or Raw or whatever it was. Rock was really involved leading up to WrestleMania 40, and we're not seeing that as much this year. So I think they're like the storylines are starting to all come together, not just with Cody and Cena, but all around. But then there's also some weird ones that you're kind of like, okay, like someone mentioned the Penta for IC champ. Like you've got Penta, Finn Balor, Braun, and Dom, and I can put the pieces together, but it feels a little bit loose in my opinion.
They're trying to get as many people on the card as they can. Yeah, you know what? You know who saves this card for sure? It's Ric Flair.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, he saves the card for sure. In fact, put him in the main event. No?
Well,
No?
I think what they're saying is Ric Flair somehow involved with the Charlotte Tiffy thing. It's not going to happen. Ric Flair is under contract with AEW, and I doubt that they're going to put Ric Flair in WrestleMania, You know, I get it, but I don't think Tony Khan's that stupid to let someone close in his company.
So, Alex, really quick, I have no problem with The Rock. In fact, Adam laid it out perfectly. I thought last year's lead up to Mania and Rock being there and being with Roman, in some ways, I thought that it really made Roman look small when it should have made Roman almost look like an equal to The Rock with the championship run that he had. My problem with The Rock is just randomly deciding that he wants to be a part of a show and then random things happening here and there. Like when he opened up the Netflix show and he's giving love to Cody and, you know, like, you know what I'm saying, Adam, where The Rock just pops up and then it has to be about The Rock and then The Rock just goes away. There's never anything really long-term built from it.
I think it's The Rock making it about The Rock. And his spots were strangely timed.
Yes.
And there wasn't a lot of context to it. And then, you know, it was like The Rock hated Cody. And then he's like, oh, we take shots of tequila backstage. We're best buds. And then I guess that was like setting up for him to be like, Cody, be my champion.
See, I don't think it was. I think that
they pivoted. Yeah.
100%. You just nailed it.
Yeah.
And they're pivoting so much that they're changing their pivot foot and they're traveling. No traveling.
Yeah. He needs to stay the hell out of it. And any part that The Rock has in this should be planned by Triple H, not The Rock.
Yes.
And, you know, I don't know that that's the case or anything like that, but it feels like it to us as fans. And I know we think we know everything. We don't. But, you know, as a fan, also, that's how it feels to us. And I don't know. It's just like, either get The Rock the hell out of this or make him involved in it. I don't care how busy you are. If you're going to interject yourself into this, then be a part of it. But don't be this half-ass show up every 2 months, whatever it is, and then drop some obscure crap into the storyline with it. You know, it's weird. So
I think
either
you
pull it in, pull it all together, or don't do it at all.
You just pulled my thoughts together and you condensed them. I don't want to have this perfectly just between Cena and Cody. It's been great. That was a legendary promo when they both went at each other. You know, in a time when it's hard to do that, where it feels real because everything's kind of borderline real now.
Yeah.
And there's no heels and there's no faces. I don't want, just what you said, for them to pivot away from any of the great stuff they have done to include The Rock, right?
Well, you're saying exactly like what the latest Chris Van Vliet episode that dropped today. It was like he goes, you know, I hear so much about kayfabe is dead and it's gone. Well, if kayfabe is dead, then why are we questioning whether or not Kevin Owens is injured? Why are we questioning whether or not that Tiffy Charlotte shoot last week, if that's real or not? You know, I think it is to an extent, but we don't know, because that, if we can transition into that Charlotte Tiffy drop last week, man, that was hot. And it was so good. You're 0-3 with relationships, and she drops the mic and rolls out of the ring and goes. Like, that felt real.
Well, they both apparently gotten in some trouble for that. And by the way, I just got hit up by somebody that used to be in Hollywood suggesting that our lighting needs to be better, and breaking some of their own rules about texting hosts during shows. Very interesting stuff. I'm sure you would never guess who that was. It's because they're contrasting. I look like a ghost. You look nice and tan. These ring lights have different settings. Would this do better, Mr. Hollywood? Mr. Hollywood Bigwig? Is that better? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
it could be better, but I'm also operating on a $20 light in my office in my house. So,
Right? If
you know,
there
for
was a
15
time,
minutes a week, this is all right.
right? If there was a time to drop that drop, if I still had it on my board, I would. And I know he's trying to help, but
I know.
come on.
We appreciate the feedback, but we
Hey.
didn't ask for it either. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, good job, little guy.
Not so fast, midget. Not so fast, midget. Yeah, little guy.
I love the new shirt that he dropped.
I have not seen it. I have heard about it, but I have
pretty
not
good.
seen it. All right. So
Yeah.
you hit the Tiffy thing. That thing was kind of weird for sure. And apparently they might not really like each other. I think Charlotte Flair is
like
just I don't know. I'm just kind of with her.
Charlotte Flair is awesome. Is that what you said?
No, I'm like kind of with her. I'm just
yeah.
kind of like maybe it's because I'm a Tiffy person. I look like Paige. You know, okay, hold on. If we're gonna bring up Paige, you know who else is starting to look like Paige and Sheamus? It's Cena. Cena looks really Caspery too.
Yeah.
So I'll work on my lighting, but anyways,
You know, the melanin's not kicking with Cena, and that's okay. You know, not our fault.
So any thoughts really quick? So we only got a couple of minutes left. Yeah, I know it is. I'll drop that on you in a second. It is Tiffy time. Any thoughts on this whole CM Punk, Heyman, Roman thing?
I mean, I think we all kind of assumed that the favor would be Heyman in Punk's corner. Are we getting swerved and Heyman goes to Seth? Like, who needs Paul Heyman more out of the three? I argue it's Seth. Seth is in like purgatory, right? Like, everyone sings his song, he comes out, but no one there wants Seth to beat Roman or Punk. I think that list is pretty short. You know, I think Seth, he needs a push. I think they're toning down his wardrobe a little bit, but he needs sort of like a rework, and he needs to have new theme music. He needs new wardrobe. He needs something else.
It's Tiffy time.
I don't know if he needs new wardrobe, but I think you hit the nail on the head. I think they're 100% headed with Heyman, possibly. Kind of like the way they've interacted. It feels like something could be up there. Next week,
good on the mic. Why do you need a Heyman?
Yeah, they both don't need him, and it does freshen Seth up a little bit as well. You know what's really interesting though? I watched the Roman Reigns thing that came out a year or two ago, and I guess legitimately, like Paul Heyman handles like everything, or was handling everything for Roman Reigns behind the scenes, like his travel, his flights. Like he was living that role. Yes, it was crazy to hear. So we'll hit on Jay and Gunther next week because I think that WWE's kind of booked themselves into a corner on that one, just because if Jay is going to win the title, usually that's going to be your send off. And yeah, we'll get into that next week. Let's get to
let's hit it. Let's hit it real quick.
We don't have enough time to hit it.
That was the most brutal, gruesome moment we've seen probably since Punk and Drew in that cage match where Punk put 14 staples in Drew's head. That was gory. And when he spread the blood all over him and tasted it and spit it out, Gunther is a lady. Yeah, right, dude. Gunther is lazy. He's old school. He's going to beat the living hell out of Jey Uso at WrestleMania.
Okay, but that's my point. They booked themselves into a corner. Like, it's very obvious that, or it seems obvious that Jay is not gonna win the title because
I
if
actually think Jay is going to win the title.
but then that should be the WrestleMania send off. That's not your opener, which it's going to be on night 2.
Is it confirmed?
It's got to be. That's how they did it last time when they had both title matches on night 2. That's what they did last year. Your first match was, and that's when Damian Priest cashed in.
Man,
Because
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Because now you've got confirmed Punk and Reigns and Rollins WrestleMania night 1 main event. So night 2 is going to, unless you're going to put Cena and Cody in the middle of the show, I don't see that happening.
No. I don't know. I think Jay had his best mic work of all time up against Gunther. Was it this past Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the best promo Jay's ever cut solo on his own. He actually hit it. Usually he stumbles a little bit here and there, or he comes across as like not confident, and I think he really hit it out of the park this week. So I think this is the one match where we were like, what's the story going on here? And I think between him terrorizing Jimmy in front of Jay's face, and then like this stuff where he like pulls him close enough to Jay where he could touch him, but then he pulls him back and chokes him out more. That was awesome, and Jay killed it.
Brother, I'm in complete agreement with you. What I'm saying is, traditionally, for somebody like Jay, who is, let's be honest about it, Jay has been the crowd's pick, right? The crowd have put Jay, or the WWE universe has put Jay where he's at on this card right now. They are the ones that forced WWE's hand. It's the Bryan Daniel rule. They forced his hand to have him win the Rumble and build him up to this big moment, right? And in some ways, it's different from Cody. Cody had the fan support, but Cody was a much bigger deal coming back. So you knew that you could make a longer story out of that. If you beat Jey Uso in the main event at WrestleMania, it's going to really kill this yeet momentum, I think. And conversely, if he's not ending a show, I think it doesn't give you everything it's supposed to with that character finally winning the title. Those are the WrestleMania moments, right? It's Kofi ending WrestleMania as the title, or he didn't end it. I guess that's a bad example, but you know what I'm saying.
But maybe Jay loses, and then we can have a bigger build up to SummerSlam for Jay to beat Gunther finally. But I feel like that's too soon of a turnaround.
I am very scared that you're going to see the Hardy. I mentioned this a few weeks ago, and we'll talk this whole situation out more next week because I got to get to Stockton here pretty soon. But I'm afraid you're going to see the Hardy formula where Matt turned on Jeff and cost him the title. If they do that and go back to Jay and Jimmy, I am going to just if he costs him the match at WrestleMania, not for me. And Bianca Belair, can it be any clearer she's turning heel? All she's doing is wearing black clothing. She's going to team up with Naomi after.
So is Cody.
And I guess we end there. Dude, you are so hoping that comes through. I know you are.
I'm not. Maybe.
You for sure.
The worst thing they could do with Jey Uso is turn him into LA Knight. They screwed up LA Knight's first run as US champ. I think if they have Jey Uso win, they'll screw it up and turn him into LA Knight's first run as US champ. And I think they are going to let Jacob Fatu beat LA Knight because that's another fan pick.
Yeah, but what I was saying is you're hoping that the Cody turn comes through.
I'm not hoping. I don't think it's the right time. I think you should have Cody be a face for several years. He's too good at it. But I think if you really want to mess with fans' minds, you turn Cody heel now I talked about the Money in the Bank. John Cena wins Money in the Bank. He, gets double crossed by Cody and The Rock. And you were saying, don't let it be a cheap win with the Money in the Bank briefcase. But I think you could do something cool where Cena steps into the ring where, Cody's cutting a promo and he hands him the briefcase and he's like, we're doing this right now. And it's a legit match and he beats him to win it. And then he goes out. But we've got Cena until December. So how long of a run is he going to have as a champ? Before we don't believe it. I don't know.
He's going to retire as the champ. That's what I think. All right. This has been a big fat wrestling.
He's going to retire as champ and they're going to bring a different belt in.
Why would they do that?
Well, they're just going to here's the new Universal Champion belt, and they'll call it something else.
Yeah. And we got to hit on Randy Orton. What's he going to be doing? Anyways, all right, dude. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming in, as always.
Get to.
Oh, go ahead. I missed it.
Get to Stockton, man. We need you, bro. Is this the finals tonight? One game?
No, it's game 2, but it's win or go home for them because they lost game 1. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, good luck.
All right. Thanks, brother. Good fat show. That was a long show, y'all. Hey, big night ahead. Not because of WWE SmackDown. You got a big night ahead of Kings basketball. As I said, Kings Clippers tonight. Enjoy that one. Do not forget, Napes and Jerry will be here for you. Jerry and Napes at the half, and then Grant after the show doing the post game. So you got halftime and post game with Grant. I might try to do something from Stockton if Stockton allows it. I don't know if they will. We'll see. I might try to check in with the post game from Stockton. So those games will be wrapping up right around the same time. And that depends on how it goes with Stockton too. If they lose, maybe not so much, but if they win, we will see. And speaking of Stockton, get down there and support the Stockton Kings tonight. This is their one game at home for the G League Finals. They're currently down 0-1 in the series to the Osceola Magic. That place is going to be a rockin'. Matt will be down there with me. I know J Cal's going to be down there. So come say hi if you're going to be in Stockton. We will be around. Have fun tonight. Be safe. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the basketball. In fact, we'll be back Sunday. The pregame show will be back early on Sunday, 11:45 a.m. Getting you ready for the Kings and the Suns' last game of the season. Man, it's been a fun day today. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of you for being here this week. Thanks for sticking around for a long Friday show. Enjoy the basketball tonight. Don't forget Grant, Jerry, halftime. Be there. Support Nate. Support Jer. Go Kings. Light the beam. I wish Stockton had something like the beam. Our town, our crown. That's what they say. Anyways, we're out. Courts dismissed.